This is the exact leadership framework you can use to skyrocket your business. A lot of people are leading just by managing employees, and you guys keep hitting this revenue ceiling and you can't break through. You've focused on sales and marketing and you've done a good job growing to 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, but you can't get through. And the reason is because you are not optimized as a leader. You have not built a culture and systems and structures to be able to scale the business. How do we get to 50 million to 100 million? How do we create real enterprise value in the business? How do you as a leader step away and still have a culture, a framework, structure, and system within the business that it can operate without you being there? I'm gonna go over this exact leadership framework in detail so that you guys can scale your businesses and make money and live this life of freedom that every business owner should be able to live. Okay, the first and most important part of this framework is your personal optimization as a leader. How's your mindset? How's your emotional intelligence, your ability to communicate, your belief lid, okay? So as a leader, you need to work on your mind each and every day so that you have optimal equanimity. This is an ability to regulate your emotions. As a leader, it is your first priority every single day to regulate your own emotions so that you're making decisions out of logic rather than out of emotion. And when you can make more decisions out of logic, it's gonna rub off on other people. Everybody in your business is going to be less reactive. Emotionally, they're going to be more even-keeled. And I would take it to the next step and teach the people in your business how to regulate their emotions. I used to have meetings every single day with my entire team, teaching them how to meditate in the morning. When you actually work on employees and you work on yourself, the business is going to grow, okay? The next thing as a leader is that you need to have a very high belief lid. You need to have ultimate conviction that this company is going to the moon. But you can't just have this fake conviction without a plan. You need to have real numbers, a real plan, a go-to-market strategy, and a growth trajectory backed in by the numbers that you believe in and that you persuade your employees each and every day about the vision of the company. When you motivate them each day, all of a sudden some amazing things are going to happen. Now, as a leader, you need to be the example. So if you're coming into work late, if you're eating crappy, if you're not in good shape, if you don't have a good mindset, if you're not treating others respectfully, how good is your business gonna be? It's not. It's never gonna be where it could be. Okay, the next thing is you need to learn how to communicate as a leader. Effective communication is called executive communication. This is where you're directing employees in a way where they're actually motivated to want to work for you. Not telling people what to do each day, but empowering them by asking them questions. Guys, what would you do if you were me? How would you handle this situation? Giving employees a way to be able to grow and think within the business, right? 2, you have to create a culture within the business. And in order to create a culture, employees have to enjoy coming into work. They have to like going to work. Now, how do we create a culture? First and foremost, you should have a plan of personal development for each of your employees. So when they join the company, you should have a 1, 3, 5-year personal professional goal conversation with them. And after they tell you what their goals are, their manager should clarify those goals, and then you should create a roadmap as to how they can achieve those goals while working within the company, right? This is an employee ascension model. Then you must give them the benchmarks and the training as they start to move up within the company so they can actually achieve those goals. And you should be tying their incentives to a monetary amount each month so that they can achieve these goals. Every employee in the business should have an incentive package. Even if they're not in sales, they should have a base salary and then they should have a 10 to 15% incentive package every month based upon certain metrics that are within their control and drive the business forward, right? So if this is the front office coordinator, that person should definitely have to get a couple referrals, a couple testimonials, a couple Google reviews, and then they'll hit their 10 to 15%. If the bookkeeper is closing the books 8 to 10 days into the next month and that's too slow for you to make cash flow projections, well, you make it 3 days they need to close the books or 5 days. And if they're able to do so, then they get 10 to 15% of their salary. Incentive metrics are imperative. And then when you're motivating your team, you're not yelling at them, you're not micromanaging them, you're not bitching at them. You're reminding them of the goals that they had and that the effort that they put in and the skills that they sharpen are going to dictate their ability to achieve that eventual outcome. Creating culture is something that you have to do each and every day until you have systems and culture and structure within a business. This is helping employees with their mindset, how to be coachable, how to have a growth mindset. You need to let them know that when you give them feedback, you are giving them feedback about an action that they took that is something we can change and work on to grow. You're not attacking their personality or their character. And as a leader, you must be very careful about the way in which you give them feedback. It has to be solely based off of things that they can change, not ever demeaning someone's personality, no sarcasm, no undermining. You have to be the bigger leader. Your employees are going to piss you off each and every day. I would actually even recommend when you go into work thinking about the way in which employees are going to piss you off, and then think about the two ways that you can respond. One being not a very favorable way for the employee, and the other being one that's going to help them, asking them, why do you think that way? What do you think the solution is? How would you respond and react if you were me? And then look, you should teach every single employee about sales, communication, and persuasion. And you need to make sure that your entire team, marketing, sales, operations, finance, technology, everybody is on the same page. So you need to update in an all teams meeting every single day. What's going on? What are the new initiatives? What are the marketing messages? What is sales saying? What is operations delivering? What's our referral program look like? How are we doing compared to last month, compared to our best month? This is imperative. Guys, if employees just come into work and they have a typical base salary and they have this, here's what you're supposed to do kind of mentality, and it's not fun and they don't have incentives and you're not building a culture and you're not helping them personally develop, why would they work for you? They would come work for someone like me. This is how we scaled Health Gains and 10X 300 and 500% in 1 year with zero turnover. When I was president of 10X Health, we went from 9 million to 50 million, from 65 to 300 employees in 1 year, zero turnover. How do we do it? Exactly what I'm telling you. We created this amazing employee onboarding plan, this ascension model. We had the right metrics. Employees knew what success looked like. We cared about their personal development. We trained them in sales. We made this a place where they were going to get an education if they were able to hit certain metrics. We were going to develop them as humans. You must embody that if you want to create a real outstanding culture. This is how a business starts to grow. The third thing is that you need to have systems and structure within the business so that you as a leader are not so dependent upon every single day, right? There needs to be proper communication channels. Every single week, each employee needs to meet with their manager, and there needs to be an agenda about that meeting based upon last week's conversation and what future things need to be worked about. And you guys need to make sure that you're adequately reviewing these things as a team. It's not manager versus employee, right? We want to make sure that employees are bringing problems to us with the potential solution that they think might work for the business. And then we solve it as a team. And if there's problems that can't be solved in these meetings, then they go into the weekly executive meeting. And then that's solved by executives, right? There needs to be set specific structure. Every meeting must have an agenda. Every meeting must have follow-up notes and an outcome. And there needs to be tasks in order to stay on top of these things. The next thing is this. With these systems and structures, not every problem is a 10. Some problems are only a 2 and some problems are a 10. So you need to help employees see the difference between the problems that need to be solved in the moment and the problems that could go on the agenda item for the meeting so that it can be solved at a later time. Also, making sure that you're dictating to these employees, guys, if we don't have problems within the business, we're not growing. And our goal is to grow. Our goal is for you to be able to achieve your benchmarks. So as a result, there's going to be problems within the business. Welcome those problems. Bring the problems to us, but don't bitch about them. Bring them with what you think the solution is, because you're the one that's seeing the problem firsthand in your seat. Right? Now we're working as a team. Now we have a strategy and system and structure that's all moving forward with the common goal, because you as a leader are optimized. You have great belief. You have good emotional intelligence, you're great at communicating, you're motivating your team, you have a very high belief lid. Then you've created this culture where employees want to come into because they have a roadmap, you're personally developing them, they know what success looks like, you're empowering them, they enjoy learning and getting educated, they're learning about sales, they're becoming a better human being. And then when you have systems and structures in place, they know what success looks like. They know what the roadmap is. They have an incentive metric within the business to be able to make more money. Who wouldn't want to come and work for a company that's doing this? But most of you are just managing tasks. You've never created this 3-step leadership framework that's going to allow you to absolutely scale to the moon. Many of you are capable of implementing this within the business, but you don't know exactly what you need. Here's the beauty. In my one-on-one program, I help entrepreneurs, executives, leaders create and implement this type of leadership, system, structure, and culture within a business to be able to smash through your current revenue metric so that you can actually scale, create real enterprise value. Why am I qualified to talk about this? Because I took Health Gains, a functional medicine company, from 4 million to 12 million in 1 year. And then I left and became president of 10X Health and scaled that from 9 million to 50 million in 1 year. I've done this over and over, and then I've consulted for over 100 companies since then, helping them with the same structure, system, and scale. So guys, if you're in this position and you want to break through your current revenue breakpoint and you know that there's more out there for you, all you got to do is click the link in this video, apply to work with me in my business mentorship, and I will help you create real enterprise value, scale your business to the moon, make it so that you're not so dependent on and that people love coming into work and working for you. As always, guys, love you all. Keep killing it.